financial responsibilities and commitments that members of African American or Black communities frequently have to their families and communities are referred to as the black tax. This phrase refers to the unofficial financial support that people give to their friends, family, and neighbors. It is not an official tax levied by the government. The phrase first arose from the belief that those who succeed financially or maintain stability owe it to their less fortunate relatives, which was frequently the result of structural injustices, historical disadvantages, and the financial struggles that Black communities endured. This help can come in many forms, such as giving money for necessities like housing, healthcare, education, and even launching enterprises. In Black communities, the idea of the black tax draws attention to the intricate interactions that exist between cultural norms, family responsibilities, and economic realities. Even though it shows how resilient and united these communities are, it can also provide difficulties for those who have to strike a balance between their personal goals and financial security and the needs of their families and communities. Black communities place a high priority on interdependence, mutual assistance, and group well-being, which is reflected in the cultural values and familial expectations that underpin the black tax. Regardless of their personal financial situation, many people of African American descent have a great sense of obligation to provide for their families, especially their parents, siblings, and extended family members. Historically, Black communities have been disproportionately affected by historical and socio-economic causes, such as slavery, colonialism, migration, and systemic racism, all of which have contributed to economic inequities and financial difficulties. These factors are the origin of the idea of the black tax. Because of this, people from Black communities in the UK frequently have to shoulder the responsibility of providing financial support to family members who might be experiencing unemployment, hardship, or other financial issues. Black tax has several forms, one of which is financial support for necessities including housing, healthcare, education, and living expenses. To help with these costs and maintain their well-being, a large number of people from the Black communities in the UK frequently send remittances to their families and relatives in both the UK and their home countries. In many nations, remittances are vital for social welfare, economic growth, and poverty reduction. In Black communities, education is frequently viewed as a means of achieving prosperity and upward mobility. Because of this, people who complete their education to a higher degree or land well-paying careers are frequently expected to provide for their family members, especially younger siblings or relatives, by covering their tuition, books, and other educational costs. For those who are already struggling financially, this expectation may add to their burden. Although the black tax is a sign of community and family unity, those who must pay the full amount may experience emotional and psychological effects. Stress, anxiety, shame, and resentment can result from trying to strike a balance between one's own financial objectives, aspirations, and obligations, and the requirements of the black tax. People may experience feelings of irritation and resentment as a result of feeling pressure to put the needs of their families and communities ahead of their own goals and well-being. The intersection of the black tax with other social identities and variables, such as gender, immigration status, and socio-economic background, creates special issues and experiences. Due to conventional gender norms and expectations about caregiving and family support, women in particular may endure a disproportionate burden of the black tax. The effects of the black tax may also be exacerbated for those from low-income households or those who are immigrants, who may encounter additional obstacles to upward socio-economic mobility. In spite of the difficulties presented by the black tax, members of the black community in the United Kingdom sometimes depend on informal solidarity mechanisms, mutual aid societies, and community support networks to manage their financial responsibilities. These networks offer a sense of communal cohesion and belonging, as well as practical and emotional support. In addition, community organizations and cultural establishments are essential in giving those who are struggling with the black tax opportunities for empowerment, support, and resources. Over the past few decades, the Zimbabwean population in the UK has grown dramatically, becoming a diverse and multifaceted group. The origins of the Zimbabwean population in the UK may be traced back to multiple waves of colonial-era migration. In the Zimbabwean community in the UK, the term black tax refers to the financial commitments or obligations that people of Zimbabwean heritage frequently have to their relatives and communities, both in Zimbabwe and in the UK. This phenomenon has its roots in cultural, familial, and societal expectations that prioritize the community's and extended family's overall well-being over the goals of an individual. The term Zimbabwean diaspora describes the group of immigrants and their offspring who left Zimbabwe and are currently living abroad. Though estimates of the number of Zimbabweans residing outside of Zimbabwe range wildly from 4 to 7 million, it is generally acknowledged that over 5 million people, or 30% of all Zimbabweans, do so. It is challenging to pinpoint precise numbers in the Zimbabwean diaspora communities due to varying levels of assimilation and a high rate of inter-ethnic marriages. The population of the diaspora is made up of several different ethnic groups, including the Shona, Ndebele, white Zimbabweans, mixed-race individuals, Asians, Jews, and other minorities. The diaspora may be traced back to multiple waves of departure, most notably the one that followed Rhodesia's unilateral proclamation of independence in 1965. However, since the socio-political crisis that started in 2000, the diaspora has grown dramatically. The first notable wave of immigration to the UK happened in the 1960s and 1970s. When a large number of Zimbabweans arrived in search of higher education and professional training possibilities. In the 1980s and 1990s, there was another wave of migration brought on by political unrest, economic hardship, and violations of human rights during President Robert Mugabe's rule. More recently, Zimbabweans have continued to move to the UK in search of asylum, economic opportunities, and family reunions. In terms of age, education, occupation, and socio-economic level, the Zimbabwean community in the UK is diverse. Professionals including physicians, nurses, engineers, professors, attorneys, and business owners are among them, as are both skilled and unskilled labourers from a variety of industries. A large number of highly trained and educated Zimbabweans reside in the UK, where they support the labour and economy of their nation. Most Zimbabweans living in the UK are concentrated in big cities like Leicester, Manchester, Birmingham, and London, where they have built thriving social networks and communities. To maintain a sense of connection to Zimbabwean culture and identity, these communities provide social events, religious gatherings, and cultural events. They also offer newcomers guidance and support. To meet the needs of the community and promote Zimbabwean culture, legacy, and identity, the Zimbabwean community in the UK has developed a large number of community organisations, cultural associations, and social networks. These groups offer a variety of services and assistance, such as social gatherings, language instruction, help finding employment, and legal and immigration counsel. For many community members, preserving their cultural identity and ties to Zimbabwe is crucial. In addition to speaking Shona, Ndebele, or English, they participate in cultural events including music concerts, dance shows, and culinary festivals, and observe Zimbabwean holidays, customs, and traditions. Cultural identity is a source of self-worth, tenacity, and optimism. The Zimbabwean diaspora in the UK is politically involved and actively promotes social justice, democracy, and human rights in Zimbabwe. They take part in campaigns, rallies, and protests to bring attention to problems that impact Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe as well as in the UK. They also keep in touch with Zimbabwean political and civil society groups, offering assistance and support for reform and change campaigns. Family relationships and communalism are highly valued in Zimbabwean culture. The assumption that people will provide for their extended families, financially, emotionally, and occasionally even legally, is firmly embedded. Support is viewed as a reciprocal duty, with the idea that affluent individuals have a responsibility to help their less fortunate relatives. For basic needs like food, shelter, healthcare, and education, a large number of Zimbabweans residing in the UK send money back to their relatives in Zimbabwe on a monthly basis. These remittances, which are thought to be vital for the welfare of their loved ones back home, frequently make up a sizable amount of their income. The pursuit of education is frequently seen by Zimbabwean families as a key component of social advancement and upward mobility. Thus, those who pursue higher education or land well-paying careers are expected to help younger siblings, cousins, or other relatives with the costs of education, such as tuition, school supplies, and textbooks. Zimbabwean immigration in the UK frequently rely on informal solidarity systems and community support networks to manage their financial obligations, even in the face of obstacles such as the black tax. This includes lending a hand with practical financial and household management guidance, as well as sharing resources and delivering emotional support. In Zimbabwe, people may have trouble affording medical care, and access to high-quality healthcare can be quite limited. Thus, Zimbabwean immigrants living in the UK might be asked to pay for their family's medical needs, which might include paying for prescription drugs, hospital stays, surgeries, and other urgent medical care. One important part of the black tax is that it covers medical expenses, which helps to guarantee that family members get the treatment they require to be healthy. Apart from meeting their immediate family needs, people of Zimbabwean ancestry might also feel obligated to support community development programs and efforts that try to improve the socio-economic status of their hometowns or villages in Zimbabwe. This could be funding educational or medical institutions, encouraging small businesses and entrepreneurs in the area, investing in infrastructure projects, or taking part in charitable endeavors to improve the community as a whole. The need to offer financial help is exacerbated by the economic differences between Zimbabweans staying in Zimbabwe and those in the UK. Although living conditions may be better in the UK, discrimination in the workplace, restricted access to opportunities, and the high cost of living make it difficult for many Zimbabwean immigrants to reconcile their personal needs with the requirements of the black tax. Funerals are important cultural occasions in Zimbabwean communities, and people may be asked to pay for the funeral service, the burial ceremony, and the customs surrounding grief. The black tax frequently includes funding funeral costs, such as buying caskets, planning memorial ceremonies, scheduling transportation, and throwing parties to remember the departed. In the community, paying for a burial is seen as a sign of respect and solidarity and relieves the financial strain on bereaved families. Financial support for housing and living expenses may also fall under the purview of Zimbabwean immigrants residing in the United Kingdom. Contributions for utility bills, groceries, rent or a mortgage, and other daily expenses may fall under this category. In Zimbabwe, a family's general well-being and quality of life depend greatly on the stability and security of their living environment. Black tax frequently entails making financial contributions to meet these necessities. Zimbabweans in the UK encounter both possibilities and challenges, similar to other diaspora communities. Language hurdles, discrimination, homesickness, and assimilating into British society are among the difficulties. Certain community members are also impacted by economic difficulties such as underemployment, unemployment, and financial limitations. Many Zimbabweans do, however, also benefit from chances for professional and personal development, access to healthcare and education, and the capacity to maintain their family back home through investments and remittances. An individual's emotional and psychological health may suffer as a result of the black tax. In addition to feeling pressure to provide for their families, they could also feel guilty, stressed, and worried about their own financial security and future. Having conflicting priorities and few resources can exacerbate this, which might cause feelings of resentment or irritation. Overall, as people struggle with their dual identities as members of both the diaspora and their extended families and communities back home, the concept of black tax within the Zimbabwean community in the UK highlights the complex interaction of cultural, economic, and social variables. We invite you to share your thoughts on this captivating piece in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on more fascinating articles like this. We look forward to hearing from you.